Hey everyone, it's Steve from the garden, and today I'm expanding my composting system. Now what I have is a bunch of pallets that I use to create bins, and I have 3 bins at the current time, and I'm expanding that to move it up to at least 5, and I have room for 6. So I'm going to spin you around. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. Now I've tried using different things to cover these pallets to help hold the material in. And I do have like this nice woven ground fabric. This stuff works really well, but there's kind of a shortage on this, so I'm not going to use that today. Instead, I'm just going to use some chicken wire, which I'll put over the pallet, and I'll secure with a stapler. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is, because this cut edge, you can easily scrape yourself or even cut yourself on the sharp edges. And I'm just going to unroll this chicken wire, and then I'll bend it over the edge of the pallet just so I can get a crease going on this. And after I have the crease, then I will fold that over and then staple that to the pallet. That way the sharp edge is on the inside underneath the mesh, and that'll keep keep me from getting cut by that stuff. I'm going to take my pneumatic stapler, put a couple staples in this thing so it holds it in place and doesn't keep trying to roll up. Put a couple staples in on the ends in the middle. Just hold it in place, and then I will staple this down. And I'll also put some staples in the middle. As I get to the other side here, I'm going to cut the wire right in the middle of where they kind of like twist it together. Now I got it like partially cut, I'm going to bend it over on this side too, for the same reason. I want the sharp edges to be on the inside and underneath the mesh. Now before I go through and cut it all the way through, I'm going to staple the end here just to keep this thing from rolling up on me. Now I'm going to bring it in close just so I can show you exactly what I'm doing. Is you got this area where they twist the wire together, so I want to make sure that my staple gets right on top of that, so that it's holding it at the strongest point in the wire. I'm repeating this process on the back side. Now the back side doesn't have as many boards going across, but the chicken wire has plenty of strength. And again, this is for a compost system, so perfection is not needed. It just needs to be good enough. Staple it in. Now because I only have the boards going across, I will simply put the staples here along this runner board to hold those in place. To secure the pallets in place, what I'm going to use is a T-post. I have a T-post driver to pound it into the ground. Now I have this pallet in place already with the chicken wire. This will be the outside pallet over here, which I only put chicken wire on the one side. That's going to be on the inside. And once I pound the post in, I'm going to use wire to connect the post to the pallet, and then also to this back fence here. Now even though the back fence is chain link and the holes are bigger, I find that the material really doesn't go through there very much, especially depending on exactly what I'm putting in here. But even like really small particle type stuff like I get from the stall clean out really doesn't go through there. The pallet is now secured to the T-post with the wire. You can see I just used some wire and I twist it on there. And if we come down here to the end, I did the same thing on this side. While I can move around a little bit, again, it's good enough. It just has to hold the compost in. I'll give you a quick update on my other composting stuff. These are all leaves I gathered from last fall. Moved them from another bin to this new bin I just set up today. Now when I originally filled this, it was completely full, and then it settled down a little bit, and I got some more leaves from a friend, popped those in here, and it's still, you know, I refilled it at that point, and you can see it's now like about halfway settled down. It'll take like another year, I'm thinking, to get like a full leaf mold on this. This is the Johnson Sioux bin. Now the temperature in here has been staying pretty steady. We're at about 90 degrees. And the holes are kind of starting to collapse now. Now I did add worms in here, so the worms are doing their thing. Now when I filled this up, it was right up to the top, and now it's down, I don't know, 15, 16 inches over there. So before this is done, I imagine it's going to drop down probably another 8 to 10 inches. This is the bin that did have the leaves in it. So I took the leaves out, put it in that other bin, and what I did is I wanted to take the material that was in this bin to the right and dump it over here, re-aerate it and rotate it so that the top stuff, that's the freshest material I put in here, would be on the bottom, and then I can flip them back over to aerate it and speed it up. Now this area, this stuff in the back here was here the longest, and this material is now done. This compost is ready for use. I'll probably end up using it to top up some of my beds, but either way I'm going to end up pouring some of this out so that as I add more fresh material to this bin, I can flip it back and forth between the two to keep it, aerated and speed up that composting process. The plan for this bin is to do a modified Johnson Sioux. I'll probably end up filling that with a combination of garden waste, leaves, and maybe horse manure and soil clean out. So keep an eye out for that this fall. Until then, that's the end of this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you on the next one.